Well, certainly when I hit 30, I had my first child.
Mm-hmm.
And at that point realized, because I had been working long, long hours, and I knew I couldn't go back to that job.
Mm-hmm.
And I ended up finding a PR job for a small agency that I was able to work 3 days a week. And I was able to get a nanny in the house. So I was able to be home with my child a lot. So recognize that you can never take back, if you decide to have children, you can never take back the time that you will not be with them. If you are choosing that you want to work 24/7, that's purely your choice. But in my 30s, I made that transition to part-time. Ended up, after my second child was born, someone got a hold of my resume, called me up. I'll never forget this. My kids were in the bathtub. It was the evening. And I had the portable phone, there were no cell phones yet, in the bathroom with me. And I answer the phone, and this person says, "Hi, I'm so-and-so. I got your resume. I want to talk to you." I said, "I don't know who you are. It's 7:30 at night. My kids are in the bathtub. I don't have a pen and paper here in the bathroom with me."
Mm-hmm.
I said, "But I would welcome the chance to speak to you." He had heard things about me. He researched me. It was phenomenal. He was willing to work within my hours. And I would bring my children to school, to nursery school, and go to work. And they were at nursery school. And then when they were in elementary school, same thing. I drove them in the morning and I picked them up at 3 o'clock. And I was able to do that. So for people in their 30s, don't forget the personal stuff. You can never get it back. I had a colleague with the bully boss who his daughter was starting kindergarten. And the boss said, "No, you can't come in late." He ended up stuck in traffic that day, but he missed his daughter's first day of school. You can't get those things back. And so for someone in their 30s, always learn, always network, always be receptive to new things, but don't forget your personal life matters. If your family needs you, be with your family. If you need time, take some time, but don't take away who you are for someone else. And in your business, make sure you're communicating effectively with your clients. If you're in your 30s, you're starting your own business, but you're taking a day off, my clients know I'm going to San Diego later this week to visit my son. They know that I'll be on a plane for a number of hours, but my phone will be on. I will be able to be available if they need me, but I'm going to spend time visiting my son in San Diego. And it's okay. My clients all wish me a great trip.
Of course.
So always remember that.
Yeah. But I think also there is a problem sometimes for women in their like in general, for all kind of all ages, but women in their 30s, maybe they want to spend that time with the family or arrange the time that they work with according to their family, but they're also afraid of the labels. Sometimes they are labeled as like soft people who are not very committed to their work, who are like very attached to their children. And we are also somehow doing this labeling to our friends, maybe when we are talking with them, or people who choose not to have kids and focus on their careers. They are judged by the moms, and moms judge, like everybody is judging each other and labeling each other. So I think it's also very important to take ourselves away from that judgment and focus on our priorities, right?
It's interesting. I just attended, I'm a member of the National Association of Women Business Owners, NABO, and they recently had their Women's Business Conference. And they award a volunteer award or a woman who does unique things. And the winner was a female attorney from Washington, D.C., who created a law firm of all working moms. Every attorney and every other person who works for the firm, and I think there are 30, 40, or 40 attorneys, so we're talking powerful women in Washington, D.C., but the priority is your family. And she created a successful business that women didn't have to feel they had to pick and choose. So there's a way to create that kind of business that you are out there. You are intelligent. You are smart. If you are a woman in your 30s, there's a lot you can do. A lot you can do. But yes, we live in a world of judgy people.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's very funny. My daughter is in talent acquisition, and I'll say something about something in with her job, or this happened, and she'll say, "You're being so judgy." And it's interesting because she just started at a new company, and her boss just had a baby, but they put her on bed rest a few weeks ago. And I said, "How is everything going with your boss?" She says, "They gave her the time off.
Nice.
They want her to not be stressed out and in having her baby." And I said, "When are you going to the home headquarters?" Because my daughter works remotely. She said, "Probably not for a few months until she's ready to go back to work." And they work remote, so this woman can be with her child. And companies are more flexible, and they want you to grow, and they know that women are going to have babies, and that men are going to want to be home with a baby, and that people adopt babies, and people have family situations. So I think that, yes, be aware of it, but don't stop your life, because at the end, here's an interesting one. Do you know who Mitch Albom is? He's an author that wrote the book Tuesdays with Maury, The 7 People You Meet in
Yes.
Heaven. He's an ESPN analyst, writes for the Detroit Free Press.
Yes.
I went to a lecture at a local university back when I worked for the Bully Boss. And I was leaving the next day for a friend's daughter's wedding. And the Bully Boss suddenly had all this made up work. He decided I had to do that Friday night. And I wasn't going to go to the lecture. And my husband said, "We bought the tickets. We're going to the lecture." I'm so glad I did, because he changed my life. He said, and I'm paraphrasing, "At the end of your life, nobody's going to remember that you won an award, or you saved the company tens of thousands of dollars, or you had an amazing sale. At the end of your life, people are going to say, I was a good person. I liked that person. I'm going to miss that person." And I don't mean it to be morbid, but is anyone going to remember the awards that I've received? Is anyone going to remember the coverage that I got on the Today Show or the New York Times or the cover of a magazine? No, they're not going to remember all of that. I want them to remember, I really liked Andrea. She was a good person. She was an honest person. She was an authentic person. She got the job done. But first and foremost, Andrea was a good person. And again, I don't mean it to be a sad topic, but I think that in your 30s, you may not realize how important you are. I mean, I had a client that just wrote me a lovely email because I had filled her in on something in my personal life. That was so lovely that she took the time to do that. And I'm going to remember that part of this client forever. And I think that if you're in your 30s, remember, create that lasting impression. Be true to who you are. And remember that, all right, and if you don't climb the corporate ladder at that company and you become the CEO or the EVP, maybe it wasn't meant to be. It's okay.